Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We're going to model pair clothes. We'll teach ourselves all kind of models. So today, inshallah, be good. I want to teach ourselves how to cut French polar hijab. How to cut French polar hijab. So the first thing we are going to do is to fold the fabric into four, which I've done. I've marked it. You mark it and you insert the measurement of that person. The measurement you use, the way you measure it is as if when you are cutting Egyptian kilmore. So I'm not going to waste much time on that because I've dropped a video on how to measure Egyptian kilmore. So you are going to cut it as if you want to do what? As if you want to cut Egyptian kilmore. And you are going to do what? Sew it as if you want to sew Egyptian kilmore. The only differences is the cape. And that is where I'm going to lay emphasis on. I'm going to lay emphasis on the cape, okay? So I'm going to cut it now. I will sew it as if I'm sewing the normal Egyptian kilmore. When I now get to the aspect of inserting the cape, which differentiates it from Egyptian kilmore, that is French polar hijab with Egyptian kilmore. So the only differences is the cape. So when I get to the cape, I'm going to let us see. So what I'm going to do now is to use my scissors and cut it. I've inserted the measurement. I'm going to do what? I'm going to cut it. After cutting it, then I'm going to let us see the way I'm going to fix the cape, which is the main thing about French polar hijab. Now I'm done with the sewing. I've cut it into Egyptian kilmore. I've done the sewing. So the next thing now is to cut the cape, which I said that is the main purpose for this tutorial because it's French polar hijab. So what I'm going to do now is to cut the cape. So if you don't know how to cut cape of normal hijab, just check on my video. I've dropped a video on how to do that. So what I'm going to do now, I want to cut the French polar hijab cape. So now look at it. I'm going to measure is that is 61 inches folded into two. That will give me, 62 inches folded into two. That will give me 31 inches. That is for the length. But for the breadth, the wideness of it is going to be 5 inches. Are you with me? 5 inches. I've cut it. I'm using the remaining fabric that I use for cutting the kilmore. So this is going to be 5 inches. Why the length? If you like, you can make it. This is 62 folded into two, 31 inches. But if you don't want your own to be as long as this, you can decide to use it. If you like, you can use 15 inches depending on your own choice. But I'm actually using 62 inches for the length of this French polar hijab. While the wideness of it, the breadth is going to be 5.5 inches folded into two. That is 11 inches. So 11 inches folded into two is going to give us 5.5 inches. Now I will not measure this place. Okay, you start from this place, the hair, where you can start the touching of your hair. Okay, your hair, EAR. You touch it like this from this side to this side. This is where I want my own to be. If you want your own to be here, no problem, you can measure it there. But I want my own to be at this, the cape to start from this place. Okay, so you now place your tape at the ear, EAR, to this side, the another starting point of your ear. Okay, so by the time I did that, let me see the inches that I have 13 inches, but I'm going to make it 14 inches. Okay, I'm going to make it 14 inches. So I'm going to, and I folded this fabric into two. Remember, I folded it into two equal parts, and it's 13 inches from one ear to the other is 13 inches. So I will now fold it here where I folded it, this side. Then I folded it. I'm going to launch it. I'm going to launch it. That is the material like this, long of it like this. I'm going to fold it into two equal parts. I'll fold it into two equal parts, which I've done. You can use any length of fabric that you wish. As far as you have measured the cape, the remaining one will just be a rope that you are going to tie at the neck of your hijab. So you will now come to this place, the midpoint of the cape, you launch it like this. So, and I've mentioned 13. I'm going to 13 divided by 2 is going to be 6.5. So, but I'm using 7. Are you with me? I'm using 7. So you now start from the midpoint like this. You are going to curve it Make sure it's 4 inches though. If it's longer than this, that means you're going to cut out 4 inches. You curve out 4 inches. Okay. I'll now slant it here. From here like this. I'll now slant it. Are you with me? I'll now slant it. I'll slant it like this. Can you see the marker? I'll slant it. I'll slant it. It's going to be straight. Just straight. And I'm going to cut it. Let me cut it so that you can see it very. You slant it as if you want to cut cape. Okay, it's also cape. The only difference is that the cape is having a kind of extra rope, extra inches that you're going to use and tie it. That is where the French polar came from. If you want, you can make it to be tiny more than this, and if you like, you can make it to be wider than this. Launch this piece, please, so that you are going to know the midpoint. Okay, you have finished. You have cut it. This is it. This is how it's going to look. So I'm going to now get my, what do you call it, the hijab that I've cut and I've sewn. If you don't know how to sew Egyptian kimo, please check my video on how to do that. Okay, so I'm going to place it at the one that is the back, the one that is the back of the measurement. If you don't also know how to measure it, check my video. I've dropped video on how to measure hijab kimo, so you can check it. That is why I first of all drop those videos so that we can understand. So most of the time, how did I know this one is that the front of our kimo, Egyptian kimo, the front is shorter than the back. So, and now look at the one that is longer. I will now place, and I've launched it here. Always launch your hijab. You see the place that I launched. I will now take this one that I've launched as well. The place that I launched, I will now place it together. Look at it. See that I've launched it also. I will now place them together. Going to place the front will face each other. I'll place it together like this. You see, I'm going to pin it. When I'm done with the pin, I'm going to let us know. Let me just show it so that we can see it, because this is where the tutorial lies. So I'll get this one, the swab that I've cut, which is also the cape. I will now place it on the place that I've launched on the Egyptian kimo. Make sure you place it at the back. The back is longer than the front when you are cutting kimo. Are you with me? So I'm going to pin round. Before now, when you are pinning it, make sure that this one, this one is longer. You make it to come out more than the back, the kimo itself. Look at what I'm saying. You see, this is that this one is longer than the kimo. The swap is longer. The purpose of it is that we want to use and turn it, except if you are using a serger, a white machine, this machine. If you are using a serger, something like this, to sew it. Okay, if you are using this one to whip it, to interlock it, no problem. But if you are not using that, if you are only using a white machine to do what, to do it, you need to do what, to turn it. Okay, and that is what I'm going to do. I'm not serging it. It's for me. I'm not stressing myself in serging. There's no even electricity. So to avoid the cost, I'm going to pin it round like this. Can place it on a table. But let me just, for the purpose of this tutorial, let me just do it like this. Okay, that is that I'm going to pin it round. I'm going to do the pinning round. Okay, you do it like you see the way it is. I'm going to pin it round. So I'm done with the pinning. This is how it's going to look. You see the remaining one. I'm going to tie it. Okay, you see it. You see the remaining one. So what I'm going to do now is to take it to the machine, and I'm going to sew it one. When I'm done with the sewing, I'm going to let us to know the next thing we are going to do to the head. Now I'm done with the fixing of the cape. So the other thing I did after that, it was to do that was to stitch this place. Okay, how did I do that? Let me use the second one as a sample. This is it. I now fold it like this. I now turn it like this, to the other side like this. Okay, I now stitch it from here to this place, down to this place. When I'm now done with the stitching, I now have to turn it to the other side. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. You sew it, you now turn it. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is to stitch the bottom, and I'm where it will now see where the French polar hijab came from. So I'm going to stitch the bottom like this. One, two. Place it on the machine. I'm going to stitch it straight. So now I'm done with the stitching. Okay, I've stitched the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to put it on so that you can see it, because I'm actually sewing it on for myself. Okay, so I'm going to put it on so that we can see the outcome of this French polar hijab, how it looks. So this is how it looks. This is the rope. Okay, this is what differentiates it from Egyptian kimo. You are going to cut it the way you cut Egyptian kimo. Okay, so that is just the simple logic behind it. You cut it as if you are cutting Egyptian kimo. So you now tie it. Some people, they used to tie it at the back of their head like this, but I don't really fancy something like this. So the one I fancy most is the one you put inside. Okay, you put it inside like this. You put it inside like this. Then you are going to tie it inside. Okay, so this is what is called Egyptian kimo. You see it, I mean French polar hijab. Let me tie it so that you can see it, how it looks on me. If you like, you can make the rope to be shorter, but I actually make mine to be what? Longer. I want it to be longer. Okay, okay, so do you see the way it looks on me? Do you see it? So this is what is called French polar hijab. The only difference is the rope. You cut it as if you are cutting French polar hijab. I want you to see it, how it looks on me very well. You see? Okay, I hope you can see the down. You can see how big it is. So you have to have something that you wear inside under wear inner the hand, because I have enough fabric. I did not even join it. So if you like, you can join yours. If you like, you can put rubber at the edges of the arm, but I did not put anything. I want it to be like this, to be as free, so that when I want to perform ablution, I can easily use it. I can easily remove my hand to perform ablution. So this is how it looks. This is what is called French polar hijab. I hope you find this video helpful. Please give this video a thumbs up. Okay, now when I notice that this place is a kind of too big for me, I have to just stitch it a little bit so that it will firm on me. So when you want to sew yours, make sure you have accurate measurement when you are doing yours. Assalamu alaikum. If this is the first time you are coming across this channel, this is model pest stitch. We have to teach ourselves all kind of models way. So I'm actually in Southwest Nigeria. So please give the video a thumbs up and drop comments. Try this video, sew it at home, so that when you are done with it and you have sewn it, please drop a comment at the comment section. Bye bye, and please share this video so that it can go viral. Okay, bye bye. Assalamu alaikum. See you in our next video. Bye bye.